Hi guys, Toni here from Toni Reviews. Sorry if I look a little bit dishevelled, but I had an early start this morning. Again, all van related, as it always is, early starts. But I thought I'd get onto it, knock this video out, and now that I've almost finished the walls, there's still some little bits of finishing to do, but now that I've almost finished the walls, I thought let's get the wall video out because we got the window frame video out last week. So I'm going to take you through the whole thing, the way that I did it, you know, all the dilemmas that I faced, to batten, not to batten, ply straight to metal, all of the sort of techniques that I used, you know, preparing the timber and blah 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 in. So without further ado, I think we just better roll the B-roll and get straight to it. So let's roll that B-roll. So, update. Right, I don't know where to start because there's been quite a lot. This is where we are at the moment. I've installed the hookup. Give you a little look at the hookup. It's not actually hooked up yet, so it's just a plug socket that's not wired. But this is the hookup. So that will be the 240 volt shore power. If I'm on a campsite at any point, I'm going to wire up a couple of 240 volt sockets that will obviously work some devices in here, but I'll also put a battery charger linked to them so that if I do go on a campsite, if the batteries are ever low, it will charge the batteries as well as allow me to use various devices while I'm in the van. So that's the 240 hookup. That is not what I'm doing today. Electrics is not today. Oh, the other thing is I've fitted the solar. I'm going to put you out the window, the roof. I fitted the solar. It's not yet hooked up. I've got the new connector cable. I don't know if you can see that. That is the solar panel. Can you see that? So that's the solar. So the solar's on, it's just not connected, because what I need to do, like I said, everything works not in reverse, but you have to do a load of other things before you can do the thing you want to do. So basically I have to build the seating, the sort of dinette seating, which is going to be the bed, which underneath this one is going to be housed all the electrics. So both leisure batteries that I've got to wire up to work together. I've got a 240 inverter which will work off of these batteries, which also the inverter needs to go under there. I've got the MPPT charger for the solar that's also going under there, as well as the fuse box and all the cabling and the socket for the hookup. So everything electrical is going under that seat. Anyway, this is still not what we're working on today. The point is, I need to build the bench seat, which I'm hoping to get onto. But before I get onto the bench seat, I'm working out, this is now what we're onto, working out how to do the walls. So I've had this big debate about battening the walls, not battening the walls, you know, screwing straight into the metal. Anyway, so this is what, obviously with battening the walls you are going to lose some space. I was umming and ahhing as well between a 5mm ply for the walls and a 9mm ply for the walls. The 9mm has obviously got less flex, and these walls are quite curvy, so then you're battening out to a square, which again you're losing space. And my bed, being a dinette bed, sleeping from side to side, I'm sleeping widthways in the van, so the more you build that out, the smaller and smaller and smaller it's going to get, and the less space you've got to sleep. Anyway, this is what I've come up with. In the van there are these bolt fixings, which are, they've got like a welded bracket on the other side of this, so they are solid, and they're M8 bolts, and I was going to put my battens to those M8 bolts. What I've decided to do on this side is put my 5mm ply for the walling up, but locate those things bolt holes from behind, which wasn't an easy job, but I got there in the end. So locate those so that when I do build my cupboards, the batten for the back of the cupboard can screw straight into those bolts, so that'll be really solid. They'll also obviously be secured with screws and all that business, but to know that I've got these bolts which ain't going anywhere, that's the solid part. And then obviously the other part of it will fix to these battens on the roof, so you'll have battens on the roof and battens on the side within the cupboard. So anyway, this is where we are. I have, which I previously did, was batten out the lower part of this wall, but the little dinette bed thing is going to go here, so that's what I've got to do next now. Is I'm going to stick another little batten. I'm going to open this up and stick a batten in across there, because this is going to be the level where the little bench seat's going to go, so I can screw straight into that and straight into the floor for that. Like I said, I'm going to get working on this one first. Anyway, before we go on to the dinette bed casket, we're talking about walls. Let's stick to walls. The other dilemma which I'm still working on is this, and that is how to frame this window. Because I want to build, I think what I'm going to do is have my kitchen units coming up. I'm not sure of the level. I think it's about 85 centimetres I've worked it out at. And then I think I'm going to box this window out square, so I'm not going to have this exposed. I think I'm going to build it out and make it a window frame. That is still under debate. I'm still working on that, but I just thought I'd show you where we are at this current point in time, which is the dilemma of what to do with this wall, what ply to use. I've decided on the 5mm. I've pre-drilled these holes now, so that when I do put my upper cupboards up, they can bolt straight into the secure metal of the van. I've battened the lower part, and because I've done that, I'm going to continue to do that and put my next piece of this. So this wall, hopefully I should be able to get done today. I've got the wire for the upper cabinets, so there's going to be some downlighters in the upper cabinets over this side. I've also got my wire here down there, which I wired in, because that is going to be the ignition for the cooker and the water pump, the electric water pump on the tap, because the little kitchen unit's going to go by the side door just out here like this and flip up. It's got two little lids that flip up. Anyway, that is where we are at the moment. Yeah, not got very far. I had a week of arguing with my dad about what to do, and his opinion completely differed from mine, which then put doubt in my mind as to how to progress, and subsequently I didn't do anything for a week. And I think the best thing to do now is just crack on, get it flipping moving, because the more you procrastinate and think about it and do this, you just don't do anything. So just get on, do it, and then, you know, I've had enough time to think about it. Hopefully it's all going to work out in the wash. Yeah, because there's been a lot of bloody thinking. Oh, and I made this little thing. I made this, you can't see it, but so I've got like the edge of that, which I sprayed, if you remember, and then I've got a little laser engraver, and I designed this logo. I might actually get that put on the van as well on the outside, but yeah, so this is sort of like a little fancy, I say little fancy, it's a piece of wood with engraving on it. It's not a fancy thing at all, but it's my attempt at giving a little finishing touch on the edge of the carpet down there, and I think it looks alright. If it looks crap, I'm going to take it off, but when I've finished, if it just looks horrendous like a bit of ply, I'm going to take it off. But yeah, it's my attempt at just making it look a little bit tidier over there. We'll see how that goes, whether I take it off or not. Anyway, this is the state of play at the moment. Everything's out, everything's going. On to the next bit. Right, van is an absolute state. I'm literally jumping in and out the van every 5 blimmin' minutes to keep an eye on the tools while I'm also doing the work here. Anyway, so this morning floor got finished. Look at the state of it now. and I've embarked on the walls, like insulating the walls. So I cut the first panel. I've also what should you call it, varnished it on the back to help with get, you know, any moisture, if it's going to get any moisture, just help that sort of resist reacting to the moisture. I've battened out the bottom part because the van goes on an arc. So what I'm attempting to do is from the top to the bottom is sort of balance out some of that bowing on the wall so that it actually runs a little flusher from the top point to the bottom. There will be an air gap behind here, but at least it will fix top and bottom flat rather than being pulled in. And you could insulate that even more if you wanted. I think that's going to be fine. It's got 50mm in there, that's good enough. The only thing that I'm currently stuck with what to do is the arc in this side of the wall here as the door opens. I don't know whether to batten it out so the wall will come out that far and then run an edging strip. I'm a little bit stumped with this part of the wall at the moment, but anyway, at the moment what I am doing is carrying on with the insulation. So top half has got 50mm Celotex in it, or Kingspan. I've secured it on the ribs, so not on the actual outer skin of the metal, but on the ribs with the stick pins that I used in the roof, and I've taped them over. Obviously tape the joints to keep all the vapor barrier thing going. And in the bottom half, because the section is a lot more fluffy, the bottom is a lot more harder to sort of cut bits to, I'm just sticking the fluffy stuff in there, and that's pretty much all I've got left. So yeah, there's a lot of fluffy stuff in there. Yeah, and I've carried these little ribs on all around the bottom. Obviously you've got this bit here which does the earthing straps, so that actually now sits flush with that, so that's good because the wall will sit across that and I can keep that on. So yeah, I'm just taping everything up at the moment, and then I will run the bubble wrap over the whole lot. So yeah, that's where we are. Wall done, well, one wall sort of semi done, and the floor finish, which was the main thing. I needed to get that finished this weekend. So yeah, all going okay at the moment. Recutting this board on a 6mm ply because that curve on the opening sliding door is going to have to be packed out. So I'm going to look at the two and see which I want to go with. I'm not sure yet whether I want to go 6mm and go with a curve on the door, or go for the 9mm, pack it out and have a squarer, flatter wall. So yeah, that is just what I'm deciding and debating at the moment. So in the meantime, what I'm doing is cutting this out, and there's my little friend Ginge. He's not mine, he's next door's cat, but he seems to have taken a shine to me, and I'm petrified of cats. And yeah, but he seems more like a little dog, so he's alright, apart from when he acts like a cat and then he frightens the hell out of me. But anyway, alright Gingy, Ginge. Anyway, on to cutting this board. Let's hope you don't go after the cable, like, you know, they love to go after dangly things. But anyway, on to cutting this. So, just cut a real rough piece to go around the window, just sort of test what it looks like. That is what it looks like. I mean, obviously it's a very rough cut. you know, just fitting it. I need to still trim this down as well. It's only going to be about that wide, it's not going the whole way. I'm just trying to ascertain, do I like it? Right, so cut the sheet out, and I've just laid the actual frame of the window on the wood and scribed around it. So I'm now just going to cut out this actual frame from the wood, cut that little corner off, offer it up. I've still got to cut off the little bit of the top, but I'll wait until I've, you know, just got it a little bit right. Cut one bit at a time, don't want to go too far. So yeah, going to cut that out, offer it up, see what it's like. So that's what I did. I laid the actual frame out on the wood, scribed around that, used the plunge saw to cut all the straight edges, and then any little niggly bits I used the jigsaw to finish it off. So let's have a look. That is the window frame inside the wall panel, so I know that now fits. All I've got to do is put the wall panel on the wall and cut off the top bit, which I know is going to be not fitting right. That's going to be a little bit of a but that should be just like a straight line. I've just got to get the angle right of where it's going to go. So yeah, as long as I've got that main bit cut out, that should be the main part of it. So yeah, here we are, naked window. Let's look back and see if it looks any better when I've done. Finally, it's bloody in. Not in completely, just hanging there, hanging on the frame. But you know, I can get on now, varnish the back, start painting the frame. I've got to think about the little exposed bit. Luckily, this privacy glass, the glass windows on my van are so nice and dark from the outside, you can't really see a lot of this framework. But I am gonna paint the behind of the frame black, so that if there is anything that you might see, you shouldn't see anything of the internal workings of the van. Anyway, that bit of wood finally cut scribe, but it's there, it's in place, so I'm happy about that. Get on, next bit. But yeah, like if you have a little look, you know, look at that. If you imagine it with, like, I don't know, a Venetian blind on it, or set of curtains, you know, maybe a little bit of trim around the window, you got the cupboards, you know, I think it'll look quite, hopefully look quite nice. Right, I'm at the stage. What I've done is, I thought it was best now, the window is a bit wet still, but I thought it's best to get it in before I start putting battens in and whatever else, just to get it in place, in situ, and then batten it. So I've run like a long batten up the side, and I've got like some short little bits here, because this is a really difficult section. So what I've done is secured it all the way from the bottom up, then you've got a batten here. If I can get another one, I'll put another one here. But then you've got these 3 along the top, you're going to have probably 3 down here, and then you'll have some underneath that go directly up from these struts here to underneath this ledge here. I've had a little look from outside, because I blacked out the back of the frame, because I wanted to see if you could see the thing poking through. And I don't know if you can see that, but that is the window. If you look here, like, you can see a little gap. I don't know if you can see that. You see that? So you can see a little bit of light coming through there, because obviously there's a light on the other side of the van. But I think once the wall's up, which blocks any light coming through, you ain't going to see nothing on the other side. I have got some black film, but it looked like a bloody nightmare, to be honest. I couldn't see any adhesive with it, and then it had a big thing, load of instructions, and then half of it said, oh, watch a 5-minute video on YouTube, and I was like, I ain't got 5 minutes to watch all this. And anyway, it just looked like the film was going to be a bit of a nightmare, and I thought, let me actually get it up, see what it looks like, and see if if you can see, and I don't think you are going to be able to see, like I said, especially once the thingy bob's in place. So this has just been given one coat of paint at the minute. I'll paint it again in situ, and I'll probably end up painting the wallboard as well. Just need to get this done. Cut the bottom bit of the wall, because I've overhung it because I didn't want to cut it, so I wanted to give myself enough leverage to play around with scribing it. But I need to recut it to sort of come down here, and to recut it to sort of finish here. I need to batten this side out, I need to batten the underneath, but that is looking solid. I've switched to, I saw another girl on YouTube using, her name was Lou, and she used Pureflex 40. She said she uses it in her job as well. And reading the reviews, it seems, I mean, it's about £5.50 from Toolstation, and it's like half the price of Sikaflex. It's meant to be used in like high traffic areas, and it's also got like some sort of salt water resistance as well. Read all the stuff online, but it seemed to me like a really good sealant. So I'm using that now. I use that actually to finish off the last bit of the floor. So I'm using Pureflex 40. I'm screwing in with self-drilling screws as well, battening from underneath on all sides. It should hopefully be secure. So getting on with it. Sun's out, so I just need a cup of tea, probably, as you can tell. So see you in a bit. What I'm now doing is finishing off the insulating on the wall. The only thing is I can't finish this because I've still got to run my solar panel cable down here and into there. So I won't insulate that bottom part because I need to run the cable down the channel and over. But I am insulating all this under the window, around the window, and vapour barriering it off. So one little thing is, because my window sits against the actual glass of the window, creating a vapour barrier around that window is pretty much going to be impossible, just because there is going to be a slight gap, so you're never going to get around that fact. Just because of the way that obviously sits within the frame, because I didn't want the beading of the window showing. Anyway, so what I've decided to do is pack out underneath the frame with the hard PIR board stuff. And I originally started putting this in, and then I had a second thought about it, because so this stuff, which is made from recycled plastic bottles, so it feels furry, but actually it's plastic in effect. So you think, great, fine, that means if it gets wet, it's not going to hold the moisture, it's going to run off, it's going to, you know, drip off and go away, and, you know, not hold on to it. The problem is obviously the window. Now this is any windows in the van are a weak area. So if, say for example, I was cooking in the van, the heat touches the cold glass on the outside, you're going to get condensation. That's going to drip, run down, potentially get into this stuff. Again, like I said, plastic bottles, you think fine, but no. Now when I bought this from B&Q, probably there's a lesson in this, but when I bought it from B&Q, it had obviously been somewhere and the top part of it was wet. I stuck it outside, dried it, don't forget it's in its plastic wrapping, but the top bit was open, so set it out to dry, and it took bloody ages to dry off. But the other thing that happened was the condensation built up within the bag, and I was sort of pulling the wrapper down to let it air and breathe and dry. So I'm thinking, imagine if that was here in the window. So what I've decided to do is just block out under the window with a PIR board, because that is totally, doesn't absorb any water. If anything, it will just run off, and that's that. And I'm only doing the bottom bit and slightly the little bit at the top. The sides I'm not doing because it's visible on the glass outside, and I don't want, just let this ambulance or whatever go past. Yeah, so I don't want to put insulation or the silver stuff in here, because I don't want it to press against the window. But if you think, the window is pretty much the weak point in terms of insulation anyway, so I don't think I'm really missing out if I don't put a little bit there, because this is going to be a massive area where heat's going to come in and heat's going to be lost anyway. So the idea is, pack the bottom bit out, pack the top bit out with these little bits up there, then a vapour barrier across with the bubble wrap stuff. So the vapour barrier will go around the window, and if any water does get in there, hopefully it can also escape from there as well, like in terms of it getting hot and evaporating back up. It's actually not going to sit in the material. But yeah, there is a weak spot, but this is the best way around it that I can think of. I sort of had a good old think about it last night, and I think that stuff is not absorbent, it's completely non-absorbent, and then I'll vapour barrier around the whole thing, and it should be all right. Last night I had some concerns over the recycled plastic fluffy stuff, just because I had the experience of it, you know, getting damp, getting wet in the thing, and then putting it out in the sun and feeling how long it took to actually dry. So yeah, I'm happy with this decision. All the boards are cut. Gonna get on, batten out the rest of the van, and then I can paint the boards later. So yeah, been a productive day. So today is Tuesday. I've taken a day off work, so if my boss is watching this is a day I'm not working from home. I am actually doing my own stuff. So if you watch that, Mel, I've taken leave. Okay. So today I'm working on just preparing and getting the rest of the walls done. I need to cut some of the other wall boards. There's 2 panels left to cut. As you can see, I'm just sanding, undercoating, and then I will be painting the other boards. One thing is, this panel on the floor is going to fit the other large wall panel, but yeah, I've got one more smaller one to fit, and it just sod's law, the way these panels are, you can only get one of the boards out of each 8x4 sheet, and you've got loads of offcut. So what I'm going to do is, this piece is an offcut, and there will be an offcut down there, and I am going to make up one panel from 2, because the join should fit behind where I'm having the bed and the seating area, so I don't think it will matter too much. Rather than go out and buy another £18 sheet of ply, I'm going to yeah, just skim through it and hide that behind the thingy bob. So loads to do today. I won't talk about the window too much, because I'm going to leave that for the window video, but the wall video, this is the wall preparation, if you like. So the whole thing is sanded, pre-primered with a no-nonsense undercoat. Just show you what I've got there. Quick drying primer, and then I'm using a Dulux, let's have a quick look. Dulux Trade. This is the paint I'm using. Dulux Trade Eggshell. It says it's self undercoating. I did use it on one of the panels without using the undercoat, and I'm going to have to go over that again. As you can see, this is one that I have undercoated and used the eggshell on the top. You can see it's got a very light sheen to it, but it's nice because they feel proper hard wearing now. So I'm a bit like, if I spilt something on that in the van, I should be able to wipe it down. Looks really nice with a little plant next to it, doesn't it? Yeah, might have to see if I'm about getting some like planty type things for the van. Anyway, so that's what we're on today. Finishing off that window, which will be in one of the other videos, and getting all the walls up. So gonna get onto it, crack on. So here we are, pretty much near on fully insulated on this side. Like I mentioned, just leaving this bit because I've still got to feed the wire for the solar panel in here down this channel, and it comes out here, and all my electrics are going to be over here, hence why this portion is going to stay not insulated yet, and that little bit as well, because it comes out down there, but the rest of it is. Now what I'm hoping to do, I could in theory get this panel up, but if you remember, that one panel is the one that was the only one that I didn't use the primer on, and I've done 2 coats of the Dulux eggshell white, and you can sort of see a little bit of the grain through it still, even though it says 2 coats. But so what I'm going to do is give it a 3rd coat, and it's just gone 6 o'clock now, so I might have a couple of hours of light if I'm lucky. So I'm going to get the paint out, and all of those boards that I cut today and prepped today, I'm going to give a coat or a couple of coats of the eggshell, so get that all done in one go. And then hopefully tomorrow in the morning before work, maybe even after work, depends, but I might be able to get a couple of the panels up. If I can get this one up, I can caulk around the window, and then that one can go up, because there's nothing else that really needs to go there or on the bottom one. That's pretty much, this whole section could be done. These ones still need to maybe come out because of the electrics and whatever else, and because I've got to come through this section up here still. So this one can't go on fully, neither can this, neither can these, because I've still got my electric wire that I need to run through here, around here and over to the main section. But as of tomorrow I might be able to get this one wall done, and obviously it'd be nice because that's the sort of feature point at the moment, isn't it? Like with this, well, I say isn't it, for me it's the feature point, because the amount of time and effort that it took me and Will to make a square, an entire day. Anyway, I thought it looked good, so just want to get on and get the painting done and get this wall up. So little update on the walls. They're all currently in, as you can see, although sort of temporarily. Now, as you can see, the screws are in. I'm actually going to change some of these screws because they're sort of quite big to sort of fill in some of the holes. I swapped them out on this panel for some smaller ones. I've currently filled all the holes around this frame. I've caulked around the window frame here, so that's all caulked. So this panel, the top panel around the window, is staying there now. That one is not coming out, but these ones and these two potentially still need to be moved, because I have to remove this rear section of the floor again, just to I've got some cabling that goes under there, so that these panels have to come out to allow the floor to lift. I'm also, in here is going to be my plug sockets. All my plug sockets are going to go here, so I want to reinforce this panel because it's only 5mm that I've used on the walls. I want to reinforce this panel and yeah, put my plug sockets along the reinforced bits from behind this. So, and then obviously the cabling will have to run there. The other thing is I've still got to run the solar from inside here down this channel, which is coming out down here and going across where all my electrics should hopefully be in a cabinet over there. So the story is, at the moment, these panels have not been filled and done, because they are going to need to come out. But like I said, I'm going away this weekend, so I've put all the panels up, I've got everything sort of ready to go. But because I know this one is not coming out, I've started to make this one more secure as it is going to be. So, and also I want the wow factor when I show my family, and they haven't seen the van since well, a couple of weeks ago now. And I've recut the floor, carpeted the thingy bobs, wheel arches, made this window frame. As you know, me and Will took a whole day to make a rectangle. Cut all the boards, sanded all the boards, prepped all the boards, varnished all the back of the boards, painted all the boards. Everything you can imagine, the boards have been done. Although I'm not really liking this join down here. I don't know whether to take that one off and recut that from one single sheet. It was just that I'd run out, and I thought that'll do, but I actually might change that and put that as one, just because an extra join is just getting on my nerves. Just the less joins I've got, the better, if you know what I mean. Actually, talking of the joins, these joins will be covered with furring strips, so once everything's in place, the upper cabinets, the lower cabinets. These gaps you won't see, there'll be furring strips over that. Obviously these will all be sanded and painted, but there will be strips that just go down there to hide these joins, so you're not even going to see that. So all you will literally see, because this is all going to be hidden by cupboards, will be this one join, and that's it. This is the only join. So yeah, I'll put a furring strip on that one. The rest of them are going to be hidden by actually I might put one along there, because this will be where the bed is. I'm not sure how high the bed's going to come, but the back cushion to the seat, this will be seating area, will be there, so that will be hidden during the day, but when you turn it into a bed you'll probably see it. So I might actually put a furring strip across, well I will put a furring strip across that as well. This still sits proud, even though you've got the thingy bob in there, the battens, still sits proud of this board. But I'm thinking I'll box it off or do something with it. It'll get boxed off. But I'm waiting to see when I get the cabinets in and all the rest of it, how it's going to go. But yeah, this is the window frame wall, nearly done, sanded, filled all the countersunk, all the screw holes, sanded them all, corked round the frame. Just going to give it another little rub down, repaint over that, so that one little wall should hopefully be, that'll be it, it'll be done as it should appear in the van in real life. So yeah, so I hope you found this week's video helpful, maybe a little bit useful, insightful, and remember all those other things beginning with I don't know, intriguing. But yeah, maybe you are on your own van build journey, and maybe I know what it's like, you know, you're YouTubing your laptop to death, searching out whatever task it is you've got to deal with that week, of all the other people's journeys that you're trying to take snippets off to look at how you're going to do yours. So hopefully, you know, this has given you an insight into somebody else, maybe using different techniques, different materials, different ways of doing things that can add to your whole sort of basket of knowledge that you've accumulated over time, that when you actually come and you're faced with this task yourself, that this is going to give you a little snippet of insight into how you want to do it. Obviously, like I mentioned, in this build, what I've done is I've battened out strategically in places with 12mm ply, and then I've used the 5mm ply over the top. And what the 5mm ply allows me to do is to bend to the contours of this van. And if you're in a transit, you know, these full transits have got a very big curve, very big sweeping curves inside the van. And what that, using the 5mm has allowed me to do is actually continue and use those contours without completely boxing it off like a square. You know, I didn't want that sort of container look. I still want to keep the arcs like I have with the ceiling and all that sort of stuff. The only thing I would say is with the 5mm ply, you need to know exactly where all your stuff is going, because it's obviously very, it can be very flimsy. Now this wall, for example, I've decided is where I'm going to put all my plug sockets, and they're going to go along the top here above my countertop. If I was just to put them in this 5mm ply, I would imagine that when I pull my plug sockets in and out, because it's not reinforced here, I'm going to get a bit of a wobble every time I pull a socket in and out. So what I'm doing is, that's why I haven't finished these walls completely. I haven't, you know, countersunk and filled and painted the screws over, is because I know that I'm still going to need to remove these. I've still got to finish my wiring and stuff like that. But when I take this off, now that I know that I want my sockets exactly where I want them, I'm going to run a batten inside here, and I'm going to screw to that batten so that it's solid within the van, that is set all the way across, and this panel won't move then. Yeah, 5mm, great for keeping the contours of the van. Again, it sort of solidifies when you paint it and give it a couple of coats. It gets a lot more sort of rigidity into it, which you feel a lot more confident in the product then. And also the battening has sort of really helped out as well, because obviously you've got the 12mm plus the 5mm on the top, so I've got 17mm in effect on top of the van metal there. But again, what this 5mm allows me to do is not only continue the contours, but you're not losing a lot of space, and you're sort of saving on weight as well. You're not using massive sheets of say 9 or 12mm ply. So there's positives and minuses to all of these tips, tricks, techniques and materials that people use. And hopefully, like I said, this will just be one more thing in your arsenal of weaponry that you're going to use to make up your own mind about how you're going to do your own van. And I hope that this has either given you a positive or a negative towards using a 5mm. It's just give you a little bit more of an insight. If you haven't yet, don't forget, check out the Let Us Live website. Go to www.letuslive.co.uk and check out the Let Us Live website, which is inspired by motorcycles and adventures. So if you are into your motorcycles or adventure, there's guaranteed to be something on there that's going to float your boat. And if you put Toni Reviews at checkout, you get a little discount in there as well. So until next time, safe riding, safe driving, happy adventures, and I'll see you all next time.